Good afternoon. Welcome to Options Center's Friday. Welcome, everybody. Hope you had a wonderful trading week. If you're new here, go down to that bottom right-hand corner, hit that Options Center logo, and subscribe. Thanks for all the support, everyone. Now, I want to follow up on the rates video super quick, and then I want to go across SPY on the weekly, daily, 65, and then just kind of on the 65, check out a couple different indices. We are potentially at a top. There is another target higher. I think it's getting more unlikely for that target, and I'll show you why. So let's go ahead and start off with TNX. That's the 10-year interest rate, the Treasury interest rate. To follow up on the video, and I'll post it up above and at the end, rates are going to matter. So going into this bullish falling wedge, I do believe this is going to make a lower high. We have our high here, and I think this is going to make a lower high. I do believe, and this is just a guess, okay, the market, like I said in the last video, likes, at this point, loves it. It's inverse correlated with the Treasury rates. It's saying the rates are going down. Great. Now, stock prices are going to go up. And then we got our nice big move today. But the data was bad. Okay? So if that continues, and then rates are going to drop a lot more. I do think when this wedge breaks, I think that's the start of when the market is going to maybe begin to correlate with the 10-year Treasury rates. So as rates go down, the market will go down eventually. I don't know if this is the point where it will, as soon as it breaks this wedge, but that's a good spot when things start to really break down, that saying that the economy is turning over, going into a recession, and that's when the market will realize that bad news is bad news and continue to the downside. Okay, enough with that. Let's jump over to SPY. And now we're going to have some targets to the downside when we get onto the daily. Let's start off with the weekly. Here. Put on the weekly board. And just give a glance, because it's the end of the week. We're above the 8 EMA. So in a sense, that's bullish. We want to see some follow through going into tomorrow, or excuse me, next week. Got our bounce off the 20 simple moving average and held on to it 3 times now. Okay, so we're popping above. Let's see where we end. And at this point, it's a possible reversal candle to the upside. So that's bullish for the weekly. And candles, you have to interpret them both ways. So although this is a possible, setup to the upside, really it's just a pause candle. And it can be played to the downside too without any follow through. So there's not a whole lot. It's just saying there's some strength there. But what if that's a hangman candle where everybody buys here and price drops lower? Typically you see a hangman at the top, but this could be the top of this move. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, so on the daily time frame, looking over on the daily, trend is our friend. You see we're holding the channel that we built there. We're right at the 50-day moving average. It's a big point there, and it's very typical for price action to pop through the moving averages, especially when they're moving sideways, and then reverse off of them. Maybe getting one close above and then breaking down. Make sure you stick around, because there is a time relationship coming on Monday as well. We talked about it a few times. That's the 6th, May 6th. So keep that in mind. And we're getting right up to the reversal area right here at the 513. We didn't quite touch it yet. Earlier today, we had the big pop on the open, a gap up, and then kind of it had a little bit of not a reversal, but a little reaction lower. Now moving back up. So all right, that 513 is our big zone. Above that would be the 518. So keep that in mind. Let's go over to the 65, and then we'll kind of go around the horn a little bit. On the 65 minute, you see we're building ourselves a bear flag, and this flag can look in two different ways. So I have in the white, the brighter white that I'm highlighting right now, it's a bear flag more like a channel. So that gives room to the upside. Maybe a consolidation, get over this line, and we're talking that 518 is possible if you go later into the week. Maybe this is going to be a larger wave 4 and consolidate sideways and then has room to run up higher. That would be our target. About the 518, that would close the gap, and that would fill out that flag a little bit more. So that's possible. I think that's a little less likely. We did get our move that we're looking for to fill out this flag. Now this is more like a pennant. So this is a little bit less of a slope. So we have the connections here, here, and here. We hit that this morning, reversed, held support at 508, and now going back up to test that flag again. And that would be perfect. That would be a perfect scenario. Now, I don't know what's going to happen today into Monday, but we want to see that touch there at about the 513. Okay, so we have this 200 moving average that we were looking at this entire time. It's a really good indicator to help us look for reversal. So we have a gap area here, gapped over resistance, and you can consider this a breakout. A lot of bulls will say that this is a flag and a breakout, and we continue to move to new highs. I don't think that's the case. I think there's cycles and all sorts of indicators that say that we need more lows to come in. Going to change the board here over to the Elliott wave. Here's our target. That's the 513 point. And that's what I was talking about, just a little bit higher on that flag. So you see we need a little bit more time either to go sideways. Maybe this is a more complex move than what it looks like, and we get an A, B, excuse me, A, B, C. And then we get a move up into Monday where we have our time factors right here. The relationship, that would be perfect at a 513 level with a time relationship. That's not an end-all be-all, but that is just, it's not a coincidence. So that could be a near-term high, consolidation, and go higher. That's a less likely situation. I think this makes more sense going into turnaround Tuesday, that we get a top at 513 on Monday, and we continue our move to the downside, and that would be our flag there. So let's give you a little bit of a target here. Here's how we look for our wave 3 target. So we're considering this an A, B, ending here at the 513 potentially, or a 1, 2. All right, and either way, our target's going to be the same. So we want to pull out our extension tool. If you use Thinkorswim or TradingView, you want to take the entire move down for wave 1 or A. Click on there, and potentially where our top is at the 513, gonna have to adjust it when we actually get the top. So this is kind of projecting a little bit. And there's our point. All right, down here is a 62% extension that tests the lows. We will get a reaction there, but that's not really our target. Our target is the 162 or 1618 to be exact. And I'll just keep that one as a target there. So it'll be seen a little bit more. So it's a little lower. And that coincides right with that 50% retracement. This is a zone. And then we'll look for some time factors in that zone too. Well, depending on how long it takes to get down there, we'll be looking for the 464. All right, so that will be our zone. Maybe it gets into some of these time factors out here later. I was looking for earlier May, but it could be more towards end of May as well. All right, so we have a lot of room here to go down. And maybe this is just an ABC. We get down to this point and that's it. I think we go down perhaps a little bit lower. I think it's more likely to test. I know it's a little far-fetched. It's a lot lower, but the 62% retracement and get a nice big reaction off that and look for a 1, 2, 3. This would be a wave 3 target. A nice bounce for 4 and then 5 down here to 453. Is that likely? We'll have to see the indicators as we go down there. We'll start looking at some of the indicators here. We don't need to look at them now. We were looking at them as we were going up to look for a reversal. We don't really need to at this point. I can actually on the 65. We can take a look real quick for the reversal indicator that we have here. So the setup, and we don't really have any divergence. So maybe that's what we're looking for, is just that slight new high to test that the top of that flag, the pennant type flag, not the channel, and look for some sort of just a small divergence like this, for example. So we'll be looking for that at possible reversal, or if price action wants to go higher, we'll continue to look at some of these things, but not super important. We have 2 levels to look at. That's really the important part. We have one at 513. One at 518. Now going over to the Qs. All right, on the Qs, the triple Qs, you can kind of see, I'm just thinking out loud here. You see this trend line. That's a trend line from our, I'm not going to pull up the daily, from a major low. And you see this trend line up here. Something might go on here to where it triangulates a little bit more. We'll see. But right now, looking in the near term, here's our bear flag. We broke out from this downtrend line. Not important to me right now. Let's clear this up. We hit our target also with that 200 simple moving average on the 65 minute. And we're continuing a little bit higher above it. And I think that's going to help SPY reach the target that we're looking for. And again, the next target up there would be somewhere around the 441 to 442, I believe. Let's go ahead and go over to the other board. In Elliott wave terms, we're looking for the next target to be for retracements at the 440, just right in between of what I just said. So 441.50. So we reached our target here at the 62, had a nice reaction off of it, and just kind of creeping up a little bit. So none of these have to be exact. It doesn't have to hit these retracements. It's just very typical for that to happen. So maybe the Qs stall here and wrap around the 62% retracement, while perhaps the small, let's go over to IWM, the small caps start lifting the market a little bit more, which we'll see. Maybe the Dow does it, because honestly, right here, that's a downtrend line. It's a major downtrend line. So we're right at that point. Couldn't fill the gap very much, about halfway, and was at the bear flag, this channel top. All right, so we're just kind of resting around that options is expected move. It's pretty typical, and I really don't see much higher levels than this. We hit some targets, but we'll check out, see what kind of retracements matter here. So we hit that 62% retracement, and somehow we see some extra strength into the market. 786 is at this 207 up here. So for all of you that are curious how I'm playing this, I have my long-term swings to the downside. But going into Monday, because we have a time factor, I think our move is not quite done yet, but just about there. And if there's any strength at all going into Monday, then I have some out of the money calls outdated into next week, just to hedge on some of these 786 targets. So the 207, I think I'm out at May 10th or May 13th even for some of those hedges, but on IWM that'd be 207 on the Qs, and this is just to protect your account. Okay, on the Qs my protection will be around the 441.50. In SPY, the call protection will be at the 786 level at about 518 strike. And then I put it out because there's other time references over here at 513. Looks like a good one where there's some relationships. So, you know, there's nothing that says the market can't go up here, pull back, maybe a little further, and something else is happening. Maybe it's a double zigzag, which would be an X, Y, W, X, Y, and we get all the way up here with a little bit more time. Okay, so that would be a double zigzag where you get an A, B, C for a W, A, B, C for an X, and then this would be the end of A, some sort of retracement, B, and C up for a complex double zigzag. All right, I know this gets a little crazy. This is a consolidation. It's all about time. Time is the most important thing when you're in a consolidation, and so we're keeping those time references here in the 6, and possibly if the market wants to hold, maybe it holds the gap down here at 505. That'd be a good zone. Resistance, resistance, you know, resistance all the way through this. Maybe it holds into next week. In our pullback, I do think no matter what, we'll get a reaction off to 513. We'll see how our pullback happens. Maybe that happens into 5.8. We have another bundle, another time relationship, and complex move to 786. So that's a real complicated situation, but we'll see what happens because of I think there might be Tiny on the options guys. We like to chit chat back and forth. I think he said CPI was coming up on Wednesday. I think Wednesday is the 8th. So that will be another point when we have to protect our position to see if the 8th, maybe that's Wednesday, we come down into Wednesday and we have to see where our market wants to go up or down at that point. Okay, I'm trying to talk you guys through this. This is what my mind has to go through every single day as the market gives us information. That's why I'm making these videos. So make sure you hit that notification button. And I kind of put this together like a storybook. Each and every day adds on. If I don't do a video, for example, tomorrow, it just means I don't have anything really to add on at the moment. Okay, so that's it. We're looking for our target at 513, see what kind of reaction we get off of it, and see if we hold any particular levels. Maybe that channel bottom again. This would be an alternate situation. Just kind of talk you through it. That we make it up to this point, we pull back into that 505 area that I was talking about. You would call that a back test to this channel, and then we go up for the 518. I hope that makes sense. I'll leave this on here for the next video so we can kind of add on to that. I'll make it a different color. Let's go with the brighter. And that way you guys can follow along with this. So this would be an alternate situation if this area holds going into next week. We'll look for a last move to fill the gap to the upside. That would be our alternate situation, but just know that when we get to this 513 target, that can be it. If this point holds here, I think that's about it. That would be considered a fake break from this channel, this flag breakout, and would also be breaking down from this uptrend, this flag, and that would be a flag breakdown there as well. Okay, so this will be our pivotal point here at 505 zone going into next week. So that's it. That's all I got for you. One last thing, the VIX. We'll kind of map out how the VIX should look in this certain situation as well. And it's forming a bullish falling wedge at this point. So we could expect, maybe since we're at the bottom of the wedge, a reaction and another breakdown on this wedge. I can leave it right here because of this point, but then we had this stick save there as well. So I technically can move it up a little bit more to, give it us the benefit of a doubt there. Price might close the gap for the VIX and make a new low to close one or two of these gaps here, if price wants to go up to that 518. Okay, and then just to let you know ahead of time, if you want to join us in the options guys room, if we do find that we're holding those levels I was talking about, there's some likely to be some good trades to the upside, whether that's Tesla or Snow. There's a couple of them in the room that we're looking at. So that's what I got for you. Thanks for joining us here at Option Center. Have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget to like the video. Appreciate all your support. Have a wonderful day.